So I'm in my favorite place, quote unquote favorite again, under my freaking truck. And this time it's the power steering leak, as you can see here. And troubleshooting what's leaking, and I found out pretty quickly it's these two lines. I don't know if I can use a flash here. Okay. Yep, that line there is all sweaty and wet right here. Yeah, this line there right here on the right, completely wet, and it's dripping fluid. Okay, good. So I traced where they go. They go to this rack, steering rack, I suppose, or whatever that is. And looks like you can kind of see these bolts. There's a bolt here. Let's see, there's a bolt. There's a bolt here, and there's also another bolt. Like it's over there. I have to be at a different angle here, but there's another bolt right there. So these two have to come out. Wish me luck, that's what I'm about to tackle, I have no idea. And they actually go all the way to this area here, towards the driver side of the truck, right here. Right here, I have a crappy angle because I haven't taken my wheel off yet, right here. Basically that goes into this steering rack. There's both of these lines going in there, and they're held by I think an 8mm bolt, which I found a video about. One guy actually takes that off. So for me the challenge is to, I hope this comes out easily. Wish me luck. I'll report on it when I'm done. So unfortunately I got so busy doing this that I forgot to record, but in other words, you need a 17 wrench, a good one. 17 wrench, a good one, to tackle. See, this is, I'm looking at the back of the vehicle right now. This is the front right here. To tackle the bolts that I showed you in the previous segment that are tucked in there. So you will have to access it from here. You're gonna put your ratchet right here, like this. And make sure you get it on the bolt nice and tight. It's this bolt right here. It's a 17. Because it was rusted, it acted like it's an 18, so don't make that mistake. 17. So this will come out when you just start working from here, okay? And the harder part is basically when you trace these lines, you will arrive here. This is the front left wheel. You will arrive here, and this is almost the harder part right there. What you're looking at there right now is an 8mm hex bolt that holds these two lines. Again, there are two lines, one of them is leaking, and you will literally have to have a very tiny 8mm and do it by hand. It's gonna take you half an hour at least to remove that bolt. Okay, finally it's gonna go. Then put a small screwdriver to pry this triangular holder away from the body. Just put the screwdriver in between and tap gently with a hammer, and it's gonna go. Okay, and now I'm in the process of disassembling, taking out one of the lines. Okay, so then crap, I can't even get my camera in here. Okay, see, so to remove the line now, you will tilt this. It took me a while to figure this out. You will tilt it. See this little triangle here, the holder that holds it, you will tilt it, see, and then my line should be loose now. I should be able to take it out. This is the one that was rusted. Yeah. Okay, so again, I let this, see, this let go finally, I was able to get that line loose, and then it was interesting because I had to wiggle the line so it's out of the vehicle. It's right here. This is the line. So obviously it's like this in there, right? Exactly like that. So you have to just be creative, but just to tell you how. See, my drain pane is there. You move it towards the passenger side. Okay, so you wiggle, left, right, and finally it's gonna come out above the control arm here. Above the control arm near your wheel. It's gonna touch your wheel and it's gonna come out like this, okay? This is the longer line. There's two of them. One is longer, one is shorter. I'm replacing the longer one. So it's no longer here, but this is actually right here. My hands are very dirty. But this is the bolt right here. Right here is the bolt for the shorter line, right here. So you would do it in the same way. However, I think if you're replacing the shorter line, this part will come with it, I think. So this is kind of what it looks like now. So I'm just trying to clean it as much as I can, but access is extremely difficult in there, as everything so far that I've done on a Ford. So you have to just clean it and put the new line in. So, knock on wood, I have no leaks. The job is finished. It was a major pain in the ass actually, due to lack of space as always. But a couple hints here. Let me zoom out here a little bit. Couple hints to reinstall the line. It's a major pain in the ass. The biggest help you can give yourself is to take a video, exactly like I did. Take a video of how this line was in here. See, nice and shiny silver. How this line was in here while you're pulling it out. If you don't do it, you're completely screwed. See, this line is the lowest, sort of the lowest point here, below the other bolt here. So basically, take a video of how it is before, and then it will help you. It will go in. Just have a beer. I couldn't get it in for 20 minutes. Had a beer. Watch the video, and it went in butter smooth with no force. The key is to first start feeding it there and feeding it higher. So go higher. At the end that's supposed to be here by the wheel has to go, if I recall correctly, has to go higher, okay? High above the steering rack. And then you feed it from the top to the bottom, because otherwise you're going to be hitting the ground. If you try to feed it like this, you're going to be hitting the ground, okay? So feed the end that goes by the wheel, the 17mm end, feed it up there, up high first, and then lower it down into position, lower it down, okay? That's the best hint. But again, just remember how you take it out. Take a video of how you're taking it out, whatever, take a video of how you're taking it out, and then you'll know. A couple hints here. Yeah, don't forget your rubber gaskets on the new line there by the 17. I almost forgot. So don't forget the. See, you can see it there. You can see it there. There you go. Right there. Don't forget that's the 17 bolt right there, right? Don't forget the rubber gaskets. One will stay on nicely and one will keep falling off. So don't worry about it. For me, the one that was next to the bolt kept falling off. I spent 20 minutes trying to put it in place. Don't worry, the bolt will push it into position. And then here, on this side of things, again, 8 millimeter. Make sure you have a ratchet. Helps a lot to have a ratchet. And basically, it helps if you lay down correctly. I lay down with my feet towards there. Lay down with your feet, your ass is here, okay? And your feet towards the back of the car. And then you can get one hand. You can get one hand, I believe, through the top. Did I do it through the top? Okay, I have to check. Yeah, I was laying like this. This was for my wheel area here. So I was laying like this, feet that way. You had a nice comfy position here. Yeah, and you can put your hand in here. One hand in here, below the steering rack, steering boot, and one hand here, and use 2 fingers. And I'll take you half an hour at least to take this bolt out and put it back in. So unfortunately I had a leak from the driver's side of the transfer line, where you had the little triangle. As you can see, that's already disassembled to some extent. Fluid is dripping, but I had a very small leak. I would say about a drop per 30 seconds or whatever. Slow but annoying enough. And I was able to actually, do about 200 miles on it, no problem, without having to add fluid. But the fluid was basically constantly leaking, which was kind of ticking me off. If it only leaked when I'm driving, that's a different story, but it was leaking all the time. So I recaptured some of the fluid, and I fortunately decided to take it all apart and do it again. And my plan was to put slightly bigger or at least newer gaskets or O-rings, especially on the old line that I was keeping. That old line had the older O-ring on it, so I was gonna put a new one and maybe even replace the one that came with the new line. So I went to my local parts store, and I was able to basically bring my old O-ring and get a slightly thicker one. Same size, but slightly thicker, and that hopefully is going to do the trick. So I started cleaning it off a little bit. Maybe that's what was causing the leak too, I don't know. But I had to use my one of these rubber hose removing tools, like this guy right here. Yeah, like this guy here, as you can see. And I was rubbing it basically on that plate surface to rub off some rust or whatever. And I put, as you can see, 2 new gaskets, slightly bigger ones, and I'll give it a shot. The only reason I was actually able to put these gaskets on there was no other way, was because of this. I took this shield, engine shield or engine cradle shield, whatever it is, with E-Torx 12 size here. That allowed me to reach into there, which was beautiful. That's the only way I could have done it. Otherwise, good luck. There's no way to get there with your fingers to put the gaskets on. So you have to have a ratchet wrench for this. There's really no other way, So I'm putting it back together. Again, that takes at least half an hour. And again, the key to the whole job, it seems, was taking off this engine cradle guard, because that gives you a beautiful access here. Okay, and that's the only way you can really get to these things, to change the gaskets. So I'm really happy. I just hope it's gonna work. I basically replaced smaller gaskets with aftermarket slightly bigger gaskets, or O-rings. And 2 days later, there's no leak. I've tested a couple of times. Fingers crossed, I'll check on a 3rd day. Last time the leak developed also on a second day, not immediately. I think once the fluid started flowing everywhere and the full pressure was created, maybe the air was displaced. That's why it took about a day, but now on day number 2 everything seems good so far. So maybe, fingers crossed, I'll check tomorrow again, and should be good. Knock on wood.